Hello, welcome to TD's Pokemon Lair. I'm TD and this is the Lair. Today, we're unboxing another box of 10 Pokemon cards I sent to Professional Sports Authenticator and got them back in this nice little box, professionally packaged, so they got here safe and sound. Let me get them out of here and we'll see what grades we got. Let's go. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Haunter, a first edition card, the 21 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see that the surface is clean. I don't see any problems on the graphics or the card itself. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's pretty close to tolerance. From top to bottom, I'd say it might be slightly towards the top, but hopefully within tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, I see no damage that will affect our grade. As we turn the card over and look at the back, you can see that our surface is clean. There's no bends, breaks, creases, or anything like that. Looking at our centering from side to side, I think it's slightly towards the right. And from top to bottom, it looks a little bit towards the bottom. Our corners on our edges look really clean though. I don't see any damage on them. And we'll receive a grade of Mint 9. That's pretty darn good. We have a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Hitmonlee, the first edition, the number 22 card of this set. Look at the front of this card, you can see the graphics are bright, the surface is clean, there's no creases or bends. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, it's slightly towards the bottom. From left to right, it's quite a bit towards the right. Our corners on our edges are really clean with no damage. Flipping the card over, we start looking at the back of the card. Let's start with the centering. From left to right is quite a bit to the left. From top to bottom, it looks like it's out of tolerance to the bottom. Our corners on our edges look really pretty good, except there's some slight damage actually on the two right corners. Our surface is really clean. There's no damage to the graphics. And we'll receive a grade of Mint 9. I'll take that. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Hypno, a first edition, the number 23 card or 23rd card of the set. Looking at the front surface of this card, Hypno looks really clean. I like the graphics of this card. Our surface is nice with no damage like bends or creases. Our centering from left to right is quite a bit towards the left. From top to bottom, it's slightly towards the top. And our corners on our edges, though, look really clean with no damage. Looking at the back of the card, you can see that our centering problems continue. Left to right, it's quite a bit towards the right. From top to bottom, it's towards the top. Looking at our corners on our edges, the only thing I can see is some slight damage on the upper right corner. But looking at our surface and our graphics, they're very clean with no damage. And we're going to get a grade of Mint 9. I like it. I like it like that. This card is a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Kabutops, a first edition, the number 24 card of this set. Looking at the front surface and graphics, they're really bright. There's no dirt, damage, creases, or bends on this front surface of this card. Our centering from top to bottom is slightly towards the top, and left to right is towards the right. Our corners on our edges show no damage that I can find. As we look to the back of the card, let's start with our centering. From left to right, it's quite a bit towards the right, definitely out of the 10 spec. From top to bottom, it's slightly towards the top. Our corners on our edges, though, look really clean with no damage. Our surface and our graphics are very clean with no bends or creases. I really like this card. And we're going to get a grade of Mint 9. I like the 9s. Let's look at this 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Lapras, a first edition, the number 25 card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, the graphics are clean. I don't see any problems, bends, dents, anything any damage to the card. Looking at our centering from left to right, it's slightly towards the right, and top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're very clean with no damage. As we look to the back of the card, looking at our surface, I don't see any damage, dings, bends, creases, or any dirt or damage. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, that's looking pretty close, possibly towards the top a little bit. Left to right, I think it's slightly towards the left. Looking at our corners and our edges, there's some slight damage on the upper right corner and a couple of minor pieces of damage down that right edge. And we'll get a grade of excellent Mint 6. What? That's highway robbery. That should have been at least an 8 if not a 9. Wow. Let me show you this 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Magneton, a first edition, the number 26 card of this set. Looking at the front surface of this card, it's very clean. There's no dings, bends, creases or any damage. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's pretty close to tolerance. Left to right, it looks a little towards the right to me. Our corners and edges show no damage that I can find. As we look at the back of the card, our centering from top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the bottom, and left to right looks a little towards the right. Our corners on our edges look pretty good, except that upper left corner has some very slight damage. Our surface and the rest of the card looks really clean, and the graphics are nice and bright. And we'll grab a grade of Mint 9. That's pretty darn good. Check out this 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Moltres, a first edition, the number 27 card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see Moltres' graphics are clean. There's no damage or any problems on the surface of this card. Our centering from top to bottom looks pretty darn good. From left to right, I think it's towards the right. Our corners and our edges look very clean with no damage. As we flip the card over and look at the back, let's start with the centering. As you can tell from left to right, it's quite a bit towards the right, the left. From top to bottom, that looks pretty close, maybe a little bit towards the top. Looking at our surface and our graphics, they're very clean with no damage or bends or creases. Looking at our corners and our edges, the two right corners look like they have some slight damage. And that's going to get us a grade of near Mint 8. That centering was worse than I thought. Wow. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Muck, a first edition, the number 28 card. Looking at this card, you can see the surface is clean, the graphics are bright. I don't see any damage or any problems on them. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the bottom, and left to right, it looks a little bit towards the right. And looking at our corners and edges, they're very clean. I like what I see. As we look to the back of the card, let's start with our corners on our edges. I think they're actually really clean. I like what I see there. Looking at our centering from left to right, it's slightly towards the left, and top to bottom is towards the bottom. Looking at our graphics and our surface, they're very clean with no damage, dirt, grime, or bends that I can find. And that's going to give us a grade of Mint 9. I like it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Check out this 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Raichu, a first edition, the number 29 card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, the graphics are bright. Raichu looks really nice. There's no dirt or damage or any other problems, creases or bends on the rest of the surface of the card. Looking at our centering from left to right, it looks a little towards the right, and top to bottom, I think it's towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, they're nice and clean with no damage to show. As we look at the back of the card, our surface is clean. There's just like the front, there's no damage, creases, bends, or anything that'll distract from the card. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, it's towards the top, and left to right, it's slightly towards the left. Looking at our corners and edges, they're pretty clean. I don't see anything that'll affect the grade on them. And we'll get a grade of Mint 9. Mint 9 for that 20-plus-year-old Raichu. Awesome. You're looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Zapdos, a first edition, the number 30 card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see the graphics are awesome. There's no damage, dirt, grimes, or anything like that on them. Our surface is very clean. Our centering from top to bottom is slightly towards the top, and left to right, I think it's towards the right. Our corners and edges are nice and crisp and clean. As we gander at the back of the card, you can see that our surface is as clean as the front. The graphics are nice. There's no dirt, damage, or creases or problems with this card. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the top, and left to right, it's slightly towards the left. And looking at our corners and edges, they're as clean as the front. And we're going to get a grade of Mint 9. That's pretty good. The centering is the only problem I saw on this card. Well, I hope you liked this video and enjoyed the content. Please like and subscribe, and always remember, you got to catch them all. Have a great day.